Hello there, and welcome to the guide of the beginner class build your own ship kit. I thought I would do a guide just in case anyone needs some help with how it works. I'm sure a lot of people, if not all, can figure out exactly how it works, but just in case there may be something that's maybe a bit confusing that you need help with. So obviously you would need to be in a creative world to do this, and obviously you therefore need fly mode on, which just in case you are new-ish to the game or you just don't play in creative at all, but you still want to use the build your own ship kit, you need to scroll about halfway down the controls and you're looking for fly in God mode. I don't think close square bracket is default, so that's what you're looking for, and that will then allow you to float around freely like this. So the ship kit, you could spawn in two, and you would probably do that if you want to utilize the blank empty module. If you want to do something for the midships module that goes in here that isn't already supplied, then you would need to know how to do this bit. So I'm going to cover this first. So once you've built whatever you want inside the blank empty module, you get yourself in an angle roughly like this. It doesn't have to be this exact angle, so long as you can see two opposite corners. There you go, that's the word I was looking for. So this is the angle I would do it at, the top left and then the bottom right. You obviously cut that. Oh, in case you want to know this as well, I think I've left it as default N. Shall we, just in case you need to know, I'm looking for N. Build tools. So over halfway down the controls, build tools. Is how you get up the copy paste bit. So I'm going to cover this just in case somebody doesn't know. Once you copy or cut something, you get a blue box, and we'll see it more as I do the pods actually, because I won't be cutting them all. Some of them I'll be copying, but as you saw, I cut this one with the scissors thing. You then press the paste once and you get a preview. Now you can move the box around without the preview, but it's better to see the preview. As you just saw, I can close that build tools and then move around and then open it again, and then I got control over the copy paste box still. So that's how you would make sure it's pasted in the correct place. It's not coming out through that side. And if we go and have a look at this one, this wall, the outer hull, is in place. It's part of the chassis. And then that front wall of the foyer lock, as it's called, is part of the main ship. So long as you're not interfering with that and those and this bit above, you are probably in the right place. But there we go. So that's how you would do that. Oh, and so you press the paste button again. That then completes the paste. So it's just detected that there's extra stuff in there that it can now fill up with oxygen. That's why that siren went off. Okay, so if you were using the two ship kits, what I would do now is spend a bit of time just going around making sure that everything is deleted from the one that's going to become your ship. So all I'm doing here is I'm using the selection box to select the whole module. This one's slightly different because of the pretend water tanks on top. So I need to change from move the box around to expand the box, which is that one there. You can also switch between the modes with the sphere in the middle. Sphere. So either way, and then in case you don't know, the single square here, no, it's a cube actually, isn't it? Will move will expand or move or whatever the selection box in that direction just by 1, and then that's it. I'm still clicking and nothing else is happening. Or you use the 2 and it allows you to drag with the mouse, so long as you've kept the left click down. It's the same, by the way, with the moving. So if I press and hold that, it moves it that direction once. But if I press and hold that, I can now la-da-da. And it is obviously only in that direction. It's not the others. I would need to click on those arrows, just in case anyone doesn't know. This cross symbol here deletes what's in the selection. And then that minus, I suppose it would be, minus in a square, is remove the selection box. Just in case anyone doesn't know. So, here's what I would do. Actually, I think that's too small. There we go. I think I missed the corner. And then stuff like this. So in case, again, you don't know, just in case you don't play in creative, in order to delete a block, oh, for Pete's sake, gonna need to be in this. You need a block in your hand first, which, just in case anyone has never guessed, that's why there's always a light in my 9th slot. It's so that I've got something, I've got a block that's easily accessible. I can just scroll up to get to it from the empty hand. And the reason it's a light is because it's a small block, so I can usually see what it is I'm deleting. Aha! This wasn't really supposed to be a full tutorial. Let's see where it is. Now, please don't judge my my button choices. So for me, the shift modifier isn't shift because I use shift in most games as my aim down sights key, and in this game that is also the secondary action key. It's aim down sights normally, so I would need to press R, and then funny enough it's the shift key as well, which is secondary action. So funny enough, it is shift as well. For me, it's just a different button. But you're looking for secondary action in the controls and the shift modifier. Which is what I would use to delete that. Since it's, now you can of course expand the selection box that I was using just now to include the screens, but just for ease of use, as it were, that's how you do it. Right, I'm going to delete all these pods as well and then come back to you. No, I'm not actually. I'm going to show me doing it a couple of times. So hang on, just in case you don't know how this works, I take it for granted. So with selection selected, I click on the first block. Oh, and I don't need the light in my hand, by the way, just to make it clear. You click on the first block that you want to start the selection box, and then you click on the block that you want to end the selection box. And as you can tell, I've put these red blocks in a convenient place to allow you to do that, so that it now encompasses the whole pod. You would do this for pasting them onto the ship as well. Same as the modules, delete and then remove the selection box. So I would then do that for all of these and then use these to copy paste. Of course you can use these to copy paste as well, but some of them may be in the way, is the point. Now I am going to do this though, and go back to what I started to say earlier. I would actually recommend you start with the... Did I say it? I think I did. You start with the ship, or one of the ships, one of the configurations that already comes with the module. Actually, I don't want this one. I want the Explorer. There we go. Yeah, you start with one of the configurations that already has the module installed, and that's because so that comes with the habitation module, which is this module here. If you was to start with 2 ship kits and copy paste the or cut paste actually the personal habitation module into the middle, none of this stuff will be device grouped. Whereas if you start with a ship that I've done for you, in a configuration that I've done for you, all of this, so the doors, the lights, the air vents, those cargo boxes, it's all already device grouped for you. And of course with my builds, please don't auto group, because the device group switches rely on some of the custom device groups. Okay, so this will be roughly how it goes regardless of which way round you do the bit I've just showed you. And then using the ship kit you decide which modules you want. So this is an exploration module. Now let's say that actually you want I don't know. Let's say you actually want fixed. You want fixed weapons pods on the front instead of the fuel. So again, with selection selected in that checkbox there, click on one block first, click on another block, and obviously that will work no matter where you click. It's just these red blocks are provided for your convenience, as I said. This time you're going to click on copy, just so you've got full access to that the next time. Then you click remove selection, not delete, remove. Then you go over to where you want it pasted, you click anywhere with selection selected, and then you click paste once, and you'll see we now get the preview of what we copied over there. So you would now move that into the correct place. This may actually be a poor example because I might need to remove some stuff. There we go. Oh, actually it's actually all right. So now that I've got it in the right place using the preview, as you can see, I've got it flush up against the what is the pod connector point here. I then click the paste button again, as I said earlier, and ta-da! Okay, it was in the slightly wrong place. All right, so let's say this happens to you. Undo it. And start it all over again. Or, well, start this bit all over again. You don't need to go back over there and copy it because it's already copied. Right. Yeah, that looks right this time. Mind you, it looked right the last time. Okay, there we go. So now again, actually, with the deleting stuff with the block in your hand, using the whatever buttons it is for you. So for you it might be shift and right click or something, probably something like that, or right click and shift and right click. Actually it probably would be. So there we go, we've got a pod in place. Now there isn't the same pod on this side. As you see, this is the one we copied, a fixed weapons pod. There isn't a fixed weapons pod on that side. So what you're going to have to do is come over here, do the same again, except now you'll notice it's the wrong way round. Well, this is where one of the other functions comes in, the rotate part. It changes those arrows, and again you can click on the sphere to get to this as well. And I've given you a little indication as to which of the arrows you can use for rotating. So on some of them it's either the blue arrows or the red arrows. On some of them it's just just the one, and of course by red arrows I don't mean the RAF display team. Okay, so we use the red arrow to turn it round so it's flipped the top to the bottom. And then we go back to the move it around arrows to put it in the right place. Again, it's going to be a bit difficult. So I can see here that kind of computer texture is one block too forward and one block too high. So let's go one block down and one block back, and then move it all the way inward until the green outline box goes up against the connection point again. paste. Okay, there we go. So again, with the block in the hand, delete the stuff that's left over and the instructions and red blocks and stuff. Now, if you care about such things, you will now notice that the nav lights on this pod are now wrong. So I've now got the red port pod light, nav light on the starboard pod. If you care about such things, hopefully you do, I'm going to do the exact same thing just to copy a green nav light. So with selection selected, I'm going to be careful and click on the green light, copy it, clear the selection, then I'm going to go back to the red light, click on it, and then paste twice. Ta-da! So you would do that for all of the pods. Again, if I would recommend doing it with an existing configuration because of the module, as I said. However, if you don't like the fact that the pods that are on the existing configuration appear to get in the way, then I would recommend doing it the way I showed you first time with the two ship kits, and you remove you might even, like I said, you could probably do it with one ship kit actually. It's just I would be worried there would be things in the way, but whatever. So there we go, that's the rough guide on how to do it. Of course you would do the same with these, and again they are labeled and how you would spin it round. So for example, on the Explorer configuration I have these thruster packs on the sides, whereas the personnel dropship, it's actually attached to that connector there. So what I then did was and this of course is the benefit of using one of mine rather than building your own, but the ship kit is there in case you want to build your own. But the benefit of mine is you don't have to worry about device grouping and sorting out these nav lights and all of that jazz. Whereas if they're on top, I've changed them to other kinds of lights. That's actually a running light, and that one's an anti-collision beacon, as opposed to a nav light and a flight strobe. You see? Also, there are some that you need to flip. Yeah, you could flip these and these, or in fact those ones have to be flipped that way. So if I then put a cargo pod, why don't I just show you? So if for whatever reason I wanted a cargo pod copy just on the starboard side, click anywhere, paste once to get the preview. Of course you have to click on the ship you're pasting onto. Again, I probably took that for granted and just did it. So we spin it round with the blue arrows, the same ones as shown over on the screen. Now of course back to the move arrows and put them in place. Move it to the right place, can we? It needs to go in one block and then it needs to go back one block as well. So paste. Right, now here's what I was about to say. So I have been putting the nav lights on the front, on the fore of all of the pods, regardless of where the pods are, just so that they weren't as visible from the rear, where they're not really supposed to. So here we have an example where I've had to spin it round on the blue plane, as it were, and now the nav light's at the back. If you don't care about such things, especially if you had that on this side as well, if you didn't worry you that the nav light was on the front of that pod but is on the back of this one, then by all means leave it. You know? So there you go. That is how you use the ship kit. Oh, there is one thing I do need to talk about actually, and that's the end cap for the payload bay. The instructions are part of it, but just in case that makes little sense. So get yourself in a position where you can see both of the red blocks. Same thing, click on one, then click on another. Either copy or cut, it's up to you. I'm going to cut just so I can show you that there are bits of it that aren't included when you click on the red bits, and that's on purpose. So come to here, click somewhere, click paste once, it'll bring up the preview of what you've copied. As you can see by the green box, this is one too low and one block too far that way. So let's move it up and across. Yep, so it should be in the middle. And you want to be putting this line of blocks where the force fields are. So you then move this forward. Let's get a better angle on that actually. So this is going to be 2, I believe. 1, 2. Yes. So you have that there like that. Now, when you paste this, and I'm going to do that now, it will remove some of the blocks up there. Unfortunately, without making this copy and pasting business, I mean, it's already a little bit complicated, because now you've got to go back and get these in order for pasting in the gaps that are now here. One that way and one... oh no. Yep, that is correctly aligned. So this is already complicated enough. The fact that you have to do it in 3 bits. To make you have to do it in 4 or 5 bits, because you have to do the top line separate as well, would have been, in my opinion, needlessly complicated. Up 1 block. Yeah, that's right. Paste. So all you do now, other than remove the red blocks, is... so you can do this 2 ways. You could do it the exact same way we have been doing, where you click on that block up there, because that's the one we need. Let's get rid of that. And then copy it, and then paste it into the places where it's now missing the blocks. Too far across. Ta-da. So that's one method, and then obviously the same on the other side. Or you could grab yourself some blocks, and actually it doesn't matter which flavour of block you get, even if you've got carbon composite. As soon as you point at steel, do you know what? I took that for granted. There is a copy block combination of keys. For me, it's Control and Shift. So Shift will be... there you go. So it's Control modifier and the alternate... what is it? The alternate action. Secondary action. There you go. That's what you're looking for. So with a block in your hand, you point at something and press those 2 things. The Control modifier and such. And now you just do that. And then, of course, to cover up the... whoops, too far. To cover up the damage blocks, you come over here. It's the same with this, just in case you don't know. It was the same 2 buttons as copy block. If you've got the paint tool in your hand, it's copy texture and colour. So that's what you do if you want the payload bay covered up. Yes. Okay, and then of course there is a friendly reminder on the front of the chip kit. Don't forget to tick the clear pivot point box when saving your configured build your own chip. So I would now go... that was, for me, it's Alt and F2 to save a new blueprint. You make sure you tick the clear pivot point. You save as, and you put there your configuration. So my beginner, for example, you would do that. Editing Wimp here. I forgot to explain why you need to clear the pivot point during this when I was recording, and that's because, especially if you use the full build your own ship kit, you will find that the name of the ship that appears when you hover your cursor over it will appear far above it, and the clear pivot point will put it in the normal place, roughly around about its centre of mass. And then that my beginner, oh yeah, it starts with M. My beginner is the one you would then put in your factory in your survival world. There we go. Right, I hope that I covered everything well enough so that there is no confusion about what you need to do. Oh, the one thing I would say, although it is on the screen here, if you are building it from a full BYOS kit rather than an actually pre-configured one, and you still want the habitation module, obviously clicking on the corners as we did earlier is going to leave the pretend water tanks behind. But just like we did with this end cap, you would then come back and copy paste. Well, you would only need to copy one of them because they're both the same, and then just paste it into the correct places just twice. Editing WIMP again, I didn't really fully explain that either. So the reason you don't want to include the water tanks on top of the personal habitation module in the selection box is that when you paste it into the main body of the ship, the water tanks go in. The selection box would include blocks that are on top of the ship that aren't included and would therefore be deleted. So that's why you want to do the water tanks separately. Hopefully I explained that well enough. If you include the water tanks in the selection box and then paste it into the main body of the ship, the area that takes up the water tanks in the selection box will delete the blocks that are in the way, and you don't want that to happen. So hopefully that is everything you need to utilize the Build Your Own Ship Kit. So thank you very much for taking an interest in building your own version of the beginner class, and I hope you get some enjoyment and use and fun out of it, either using it in game or building your own configuration, or both would be preferable. Right, so thank you again, and goodbye.